The truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Right now.
Ooh. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
It's time for Mac's World. And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody. Showtime.
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
7 minutes after 4 o'clock on the 26th day of September in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Back in the saddle again. Thanks for letting me take Friday off. Went down to the Wild at Heart boot camp. And again, I received no consideration for this. I paid for my thing at Wild at Heart. I was just like anybody down there. And it was an experience that I don't think has fully sank in yet. I was reading to a dear friend of mine last night some of my notes. I took like 30 pages of notes. Now, that's a lot for me. I mean, I've gone through seminars and not even taken a note. Now, that's very arrogant, quite frankly, because I thought, well, I'll listen and I'll remember what's important. And then I get home and somebody says, what'd you learn? Now somebody says, what'd you learn? I've got just page after page after page after page. We're going to be talking about it again in a year, probably 10 months. But you're going to forget how excited I was when I got home. I don't know if I can recreate this. As a man, it was invaluable. I wish I would have gone 30 years ago. I think I'd made better choices 31 years ago, actually. I think I would have gone and made better choices in my life because of the tools that I learned from Wild at Heart. Here's something that I wanted to ask. Where's Chris? Gee, mini Christmas.
I think he went on a warm up his coffee run.
I see. Here, hand me his phone. When he gets back, he doesn't get his phone back because I had a theological question to ask him, and now he's not here to answer it. Frank, I'll ask you. One of the things that they mentioned, I'm not going to tell you they taught this, but that they mentioned, do you know when the accuser was thrown out of heaven and a third of the angels joined up in his minion and began to rule the earth?
When?
You rang.
I would say before the fall.
Okay. Chris, come in here, please.
What?
What?
You need me to come in there?
Do you know when?
He stole your phone.
Uh-oh.
Frank!
Sorry.
I'm in the producer's room. You need me to come in there?
Yes.
Okay, hang on.
What are you, just a little tattletale? Is that who you were in high school and junior high?
I thought that would motivate him to get in here.
Why?
Because there's a beauty to rescue.
No, now he's going to say, he would have sat around and go, where'd my phone? Did I take my phone in with the coffee? Where's my phone? Who's got my phone? And I wouldn't say anything. All right, here's my question. Revelation 12.
I have a Bible in front of me.
You want one?
Yeah. Revelation 12. That's it. That's the last book there. That's the last book in the Bible, that Revelation.
Revelation 12.
Given to John at the island of Patmos.
When was the accuser thrown out of heaven along with his third of the angels to cause havoc on earth?
When war broke out.
In Revelation 12, I'm going to guess.
All right, I'm just done with all of you.
No. I'm sorry.
Bunch of poop.
Sorry. This is, I was warming up my coffee and I come back to this very complex theological question. Biblical narrative. So
you know the answer?
When was the devil thrown?
All right, tell you what. I'm going to have you look at that. You and Frank and Bob, well, Frank won't do anything on his own. So you and Bob study and tell me if you know when the accuser was thrown out of heaven. There was a battle in heaven, the greatest battle of all. It was Satan challenging God himself, and God won, threw him and his third of the angel minions out, and swear that they'd never, ever, ever, ever find his comfort again. What I heard at Wild at Heart was that there's a specific date that happens. Bob, do you know? No.
That sounds pretty fishy.
Frank, do you know? You don't know. You already said you didn't know.
That sounds pretty fishy to me. I would be
Jeb?
suspect.
You're Catholic. You should know this.
What was the question?
Oh, gee.
No, but
surrounded by nincompoops.
I would be suspect that someone gave a date because I don't see a date in here.
Okay, well, have you read?
I'm reading it. I don't see a date.
We'll come back to you in a little bit. I want to talk about something important right now.
You brought me in here for this.
I didn't bring you in. You're supposed to be in here. You get a 7-minute potty break at the top of the hour. And when the donkey says it's showtime, you're supposed to be sitting in that seat.
My coffee was cold.
Well, your coffee
And this
deserves to be cold.
It's not as good cold.
It's the worst coffee in the world. All right, Mark Poole is here from Seniors on the Move.
And
Mark,
you might be regretting it. I'm sorry, Mark, if you're regretting being here.
Mark, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. And your organization, Seniors on the Move, just give them an idea of what you do and where you're coming from so we can then talk about some of the issues that's facing seniors that have never faced them before.
We help seniors through lifestyle changes. And this really came as a result of my partner and I having parents who got sick or passed away and suddenly had to make decisions, lots of decisions, about were they going to sell their house? Are they going to move into a community? How are they going to move? Where are they going to store stuff? Do they need a tag sale? Changes in legal, changes in insurance, changes in financial, all the way to what are they going to do with pets? That if they go to a community, they can't have a pet in that community. If they stay in their house, are there going to be in-home services they can take advantage of? Health-wise, should they join a gym because that seems to be keeping people alive? And certainly nutrition has gotten better. So lots of challenges for those seniors, but equally challenging for adult children. Because of mobility in this country, adult children have moved away from their parents a lot of times.
Yeah, this first time in 3 generations, maybe?
Yeah, so it's harder for those parents now are more vulnerable in making these really tough decisions. And so we formed an organization to help seniors through those lifestyle changes as they age. And the adult children can be a part of that.
Yeah, and basically, if I understand it correctly, this is a membership-based.
It is.
And because you're a member of Seniors on the Move, you have access to vendors, suppliers that you've already checked out.
Yeah, big deal for us. So really the first 4 months of what we did was we went out and we talked to all these service providers in all of these areas, eliminated a lot, and then we consciously offered those people that we thought were senior-centric.
Yeah.
Which means they would respect seniors, they'd listen to them, they'd give them dignity, which is really what seniors want.
Yeah.
They became then members of our affiliate network. Once the seniors came in and they became members of the Seniors on the Move, we put a plan together based on their needs, filled in some missing pieces they might have forgotten about, and then introduced them to these vetted service providers to help them through these lifestyle changes.
I'm curious, and don't mention a name, don't even give a hint, but do you remember walking out of a meeting with a vendor and looking at your partner and going, there's no way?
Absolutely.
Can you remember the situation? And again, please don't disclose, I'm just curious about what situation would arise that you and Kim would say, no, that's not one of them. I don't even need. Do you need to think about that again, Kim? No. Do you need to, Mark? No? Okay, good. None.
Yeah. I think we've been on the same page most of the time on this. I think one that really sticks out is, technology is a big challenge for seniors.
Yes.
And they're getting better at it, but it's still a big challenge. And talking to a technology company, everything seemed very good until this person said, I really don't care to work with seniors. They don't get it. And they take up a lot of time. They ask a lot of dumb questions. And I don't have the patience for that.
That's good. That's good. You eliminated them.
Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah, I find that with my mom and dad. My mom and dad are 86 and 87 now. 86, 87. Well, they'll be 87 both in November because my mom will be 87. And my mom and dad are sharp. I mean, they live independently. They drive. They do everything they want to do. They're completely sharp, but dumber than a box of rocks when it comes to technology. I cannot get my father to get on Facebook. I say, Dad, it's no different than an instruction manual on how to assemble something. You go A, B, C, D, E, and at some point, boom, there's Facebook. But I've never found, and I'm not very good at that stuff either. If Krista Bolt was here or somebody who walked me through technology, they'd say, yeah, that's the pot calling the kettle black. But at least I know how to do what I want to do. My mom and dad choose to do nothing. And that frustrates me because of how much of our lives, their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, how much they're missing because they're not willing to, set up a Facebook account.
I get that. Go the other way, though. Think how much of their lives was not involved in technology, and suddenly they're faced with something new that for 60, 70, 80 years of their lives, they were not akin to.
I know.
So it's a challenge.
All right, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll find out if Mr. Roloff has figured out from Revelation 12 when Satan was thrown out of heaven, and his third of the minions, third of the angels, went with him, because one of the things that was brought up, it was really not brought up as a fact, it was brought up as a question. Could it have been that we know it happened one day? There was a great battle in heaven. I'll be curious if anybody has any idea what I was shared with this weekend. We're coming back live with Seniors on the Move on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi. My name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
21 minutes after 4 o'clock, 4:21 in the afternoon. It is the 26th day of September. How many people listening to the radio, if you're driving, don't raise both hands. How many people opened a window this morning? Or more? I did. Bob, you did? Yep. Frank, you didn't?
I was freezing this morning.
What? You wussy. I could not believe it, man. I cranked two windows open in the front room. I opened the kitchen window, and then I opened the bedroom window. And then I went downstairs and just opened the back door. And it was just, within an hour, this smell of the fall and the coolness. And, it's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm waiting for my new Culligan water system. In this new house of mine, it doesn't have a water system, and I'm so used to that. And so I called the guys over at Culligan. I'm a Culligan guy. I know there are other companies. We had a Culligan growing up, and the last system I had was a Culligan.
Hey, Culligan man.
I just think they're the best.
I was like, where did that voice come from?
I'm just a Culligan guy. So anyway, can't wait for that to get hooked up. All right. There was a battle in heaven. Mark Poole, by the way, with Seniors on the Move coming up in just a minute. There was a battle in heaven at some point. The Bible says that the accuser was tossed from heaven. A third of his minions followed as they began to rebel against God and tried to take over his job and wanted to be equal to God. And they were gone. They were banished. That's it. The book of Revelation clearly points this out. Do you know when this happened?
So here would be what I'm going to say. I was reading chapter 12 of Revelation, and that's when I would say it happened. It would happen in Revelation chapter 12. Okay. Now, I know that sounds like I'm being facetious, but I'm not. That's where you have the text that you're referencing. So when we recognize that we're in Revelation chapter 12, the first thing we have to do is we have to breathe in, we have to breathe out, and we have to remind ourselves that many great men, many great Christian fathers wrote nothing when it comes to commentary on the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation is unlike any of the other books in the New Testament in that it's a prophetic book and uses prophetic apocalyptic language in a stark way. There's a lot of analogy and a lot of symbolism, and it was intended for the church, the first century church. The audience was the church that existed immediately after the resurrection of Christ and was going through a tremendous amount of suffering on a national level. And the symbolism in this book is symbolism that we're just not as quick to understand because they're not symbols that we use on a regular basis. Most Western Americans don't talk the way maybe someone from a Jewish background or that kind of someone who's more versed in prophetic language might talk. Plus, we're not going through a lot of what the early church is going through now. So that's a lot of back to say, and so anybody that comes to Revelation 12 and says, well, I know when this happened, they're already suspect. Now, you can say, I think that maybe it happened this time, or based on the text here, based on the scriptures, based on the scenario that's described here, it might have been this event in history. It might have been this event in history. Some people are going to say this is all a future event. Some people come to Revelation and say everything that you're reading is going to happen in the future. Some people say it already happened in the past. So you have been given some amount of information, and I would say that about 10% of what you're probably going to tell me is accurate, because we're dealing with the book of Revelation here, and you're putting a date on something. And last time I checked, most people that put dates that they get out of the book of Revelation tend to be wrong. So that's just going to be, that's all my thing to say. The answer to your question is, when did that happen? It happened in Revelation chapter 12.
Frank?
I suggest it happened before man was created, because clearly he had fallen and was thrown out of heaven before he tempted Adam and Eve.
Robert?
Well, I think he's cast out twice. How's that? Genesis and Revelation.
Okay. Jebediah, you want to throw your opinion in here, or just stay out of this mess?
Yeah, I'll stay out of this one.
Mark, you want to give your opinion?
When I walked in here, you guys were already embroiled in a brouhaha. I do not want to be part of that brouhaha.
Okay, I don't blame you.
I'm Presbyterian.
I'm sorry.
Smart cookie.
All right, so we'll just leave that question out there for a little bit. See if anybody can shed some light on it.
I will tell you, first, you want me to give you a weird stab at it?
Sure.
Let me tell you something that I see when I read this text.
Okay.
I read the Bible through a weird lens. I read the Bible every time I read it through the lens that it's telling me something about who God is, primarily, and God is most revealed to us clearly in the Lord Jesus Christ. So anytime that I read a text, I'm looking for where's Jesus in this text. I'm kind of playing the where's Waldo of where's Jesus whenever I read something. And so when I read Revelation chapter 12, one of the things I read is the Advent, the birth, the Christmas story. I actually hear in that narrative the birth of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Bingo.
I had a feeling.
Now, the question is, it can't be in Bethlehem that night that we are told that Jesus was born in Luke and Matthew and every place else. Because obviously, as I think Frank said, the accuser was there in the garden, and he was working against God at that time. And I'm guessing, unless he was moonlighting and fooling God during the day, but the whole banana leaf kind of tells me that you don't fool God. But it was when God knew that Jesus was coming. So the Christmas story would be the obvious answer, because that's when we knew Jesus was coming, or when he knew he was here. Obviously, there are cases of evil far before the birth of Christ in the New Testament. Far before the birth, or the prediction, the prophecy of Christ in the Old Testament. There was evil among us on this earth because man could not follow the commandments, the Mosaic commandments, perfectly. But it is, Chris, you're right. It's tied to the birth of Jesus. Now, maybe it was the twinkle in God's eye when he knew that Jesus would be, or that he would become man and be called Jesus. But yeah, good job. Very good, Frank.
But
you can't disagree with that. That's true.
Well, I'm going to probably agree and disagree.
Well, okay, but how can you disagree with that?
The plan of salvation was laid before the foundations of the world.
That's kind of what Mac was talking about, though.
So Christ was a twinkle in God's eye way before man was created, so obviously he pre-knew the fall. He had foreknowledge of the fall. So he was going to send his son before Adam and Eve actually sinned. Right?
Oh, I couldn't tell if you were asking me a question. Well, theology's fun. So
we don't have to get into this any farther. You're right, Chris, and Frank's half wrong.
We can just leave it at that. Frank's going down a different road that we can maybe talk about some other time. Would be interesting to discuss. How about that?
Or not.
Or yes, or not.
29 minutes after the hour, Mark Poole is here from Seniors on the Move and kind of sharing with us today what seniors are facing in the future. I know that my sister and I are having to deal with those decisions. And I got to tell you, it's surreal. I mean, did I think that would happen? Yeah. I mean, I grew up next to the quote-unquote Good Samaritan home. I was a paper boy, Route 51. I was the paper boy that did not go to the counter at the Good Samaritan home and drop off a stack of papers. I don't know why I did this. I didn't get any tips or anything, but I'd take the papers to the rooms. I'd seek the seniors out because I wanted them to see me. I wanted to see them. I wanted to bring them a smile. You know, if you're locked up in a wheelchair 24/7 and nobody ever comes to visit you, the paper boy's just about the best son or daughter you've ever had. But now I'm 57 years old and I'm being faced with those questions about mom and dad's care. And I have to be honest with you, the conversations I dislike the most, or I'm the most uncomfortable with, is when my sister Mary and I have to make a decision that they don't agree with. And I don't know if I even have that right to do that. So how do you deal with mom and dad over here saying, I'm staying in my house, I'm not going to a home, I'm not auctioning my stuff off, you're not going to do this to me. Don't do this to me at the end of my life. And my sister and I over here going, but you're going to fall. We're not going to be able to find you. You're not going to wear your life alert like you're supposed to. What do you want me? I am 1,500 miles from you, mom and dad. So what do you tell a guy my age, 50, 55, 60 years old that's dealing with this?
I think that's a very real scenario that you just laid out there. Of the people that are going to join Seniors on the Move, 80% of the time, it's reactive. Only 20% of the time is it proactive. So I think everyone thinks about what happens if I do fall, or I know I should be making these decisions, but they pontificate on it. They wait too long.
Yeah.
And so when it does happen, those decisions have to be made right away. A spouse gets sick or a spouse dies.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, those decisions are magnified. And those are having to be pretty quick decisions. There are obviously a lot of legal ramifications to all of this. And, you know, we have several lawyers in our vetted network of trusted advisors. And they're dealing with this on a daily basis, a weekly basis, acting as mediators between adult children, acting as mediators between the adult children and their parents or parent. There are actually situations when a husband and wife will get an amicable divorce late in their life after being married for 40, 45 years because the benefits that they can get individually are greater than the benefits that they can get as a couple. All kinds of changes. And it's a lot of it, you asked earlier, I think you said, I think things are better. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're worse. We're living longer. And that is a huge factor for seniors.
I'm not so sure that's a good idea. I mean, I don't know. That's God's plan. I think God could take us home when he wants, but I just see people living in a most uncomfortable way just so they can have another birthday. And I think so many times that I know of a situation in my family where somebody in my family was kept alive by the greed and pride of the siblings. It wasn't better for her at all to continue to be kept alive. And finally, the good Lord made the decision and took her home before there was too much suffering. But there was 90 days worth of suffering. What would you say to the siblings that one side says, get them well, the other side says, let them go?
Well, I think medicine has advanced, maybe too well.
Yeah.
Right? And so people are living longer because we've allowed medicine to keep people alive more. On the other hand, though, because nutrition is better,
yes,
because these health clubs and exercise are keeping people in better shape, they're living longer. That's a hard decision to make, to say, should we be living longer?
Mark Poole is here. He and his partner, Kim Colby, have a company called Seniors on the Move, and we're going to begin to introduce this company to you as time goes on. It's a membership-based company, very reasonable, and they have vetted a couple dozen vendors that they want to work with that have the same moral standards that you and I do when it comes to taking care of our aging parents or aging family. And we're going to talk more about what seniors face today as we move on down the road. Here live on The Truth, 99.3, powered by webcast1live.com.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you can envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
22 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News. And then Hank, the Bible Answer Man at 1-888-ASK Hank. It's a worldwide show, and it's here exclusively on 99.3 The Truth. I will be gone tomorrow. The only reason I tell you that, the team does an awesome job when I'm gone. I mean, that's why we have this kind of format in Mac's World. You're the star. The listener's the star. Mark's the star today. He's the guest. The reason we have 4 or 5 people on the radio at once is, quite frankly, so I can be gone, and the show is as good, if not better, than when I'm here. So I know Chris will be here tomorrow. I know Frank will be here tomorrow. Bob won't. Bob and I will be together on a project. But we'll be back Wednesday, and looking forward to seeing you then. And Davey Bloom, Pastor Davey Bloom will be my guest on Wednesday, and we will not be talking about predestination.
I've got a friend.
Good luck on that one.
No, we're not.
I've got a friend, Mac, that says the show is not the same without you.
Oh, makes my little heart go pitter.
So there you go.
Well, your friend is a wonderful, kind, nice man or woman for saying that, but I listen to the show when I'm not there, and you guys are fine.
Yeah, he's talking about me. I'm his friend.
Oh, okay. I see. Mark Poole is my friend for today. He's our guest. Seniors on the Move is his organization. It's an organization you're going to be hearing more and more about. And there's a lunch and learn coming up. What's the date of that?
That is going to be October 25th at the Waterfront Seafood Market. Yeah, in West Des Moines.
West Des Moines, all right.
Yeah.
And they're going to learn more about Seniors on the Move at that time.
They are. We also have it's a really wonderful, one of our vetted service providers. It's called Prescription RX, and they actually specialize in cognitive learning. So for seniors who are facing some cognitive challenges as they age, it's a way to hold off on some of the dementia and the early onset of Alzheimer's.
Frank, finally, a seminar that you can relate to. Yes. I've been telling you for years you're losing your mind.
Yes.
All right, and it's is there a cost to it?
There is. It's free for our members. It's $10 for non-members. However, if you call us and tell us you want to come and that you're Mac's special guest, they get in free.
Free.
Do they get fed too for that?
Wonderful food.
Yeah. Okay.
Wonderful food.
Food's not included.
Yes.
Well,
the food is included, and
write it down, Frank. We're going October 25th. You can eat seafood, right?
No. Well, yeah, sure.
Some.
Scales.
You can't eat shellfish, can you?
I don't eat shellfish.
Use Seventh-day
So
Adventist.
how do they? So I've got the phone number here, Mark. Is this the? I've got a phone number for Seniors on the Move: 515-225-1455.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's 515. You like that? 515-225-1455 for Seniors on the Move to go to that Lunch and Learn October 25th. That's a Tuesday at Waterfront Seafood Market. And I've heard a lot of really good things about that restaurant, and I've never been there. So you said it's $10 for non-members and free for special guests of MAC.
Yes.
So that's all you got to do to get a free lunch is say that you're a special guest of MAC.
And you just have to call us at 515-225-1455.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. So when we were talking before, we were talking about the fact that there's a special guest coming to this Lunch and Learn that's going to discuss how our minds are changing. And if I read an interesting article the other day, well, not the other day, a couple months ago, that not only is our mind changing as we get older, but because of the, I'm just going to say it, the processing in so much of the food that we eat, Alzheimer's has become more prevalent in today's generation than it was 100 years ago. Now, I can tell you that my grandfather, the one I liked, he died of quote-unquote hardening of the arteries, which was what they called Alzheimer's back in the 50s and 60s. So we've had Alzheimer's in whatever form it was for a long time, but your guy's going to talk about how you can actually exercise your brain so that doesn't consume you like it could.
Yeah, her name is Nancy Pym with Prescription RX. She's a member of our affiliate network, and although it can't be eradicated completely, slowing down the onset of cognitive decline will lead to a greater quality of life, no matter what your age is, but it'll certainly help seniors.
I've heard of this company before. Learning RX is the company that Nancy's with.
Yeah.
And I often think of them as a homeschooling parent. I often think of them as a place where I can take my kids or friends have taken their kids for training, for just for memory mastery skills. But to think about this for adults as well, I think is really smart.
It is. And one of the things that I didn't mention that is so important with Seniors on the Move is that we have negotiated with our vetted service providers to get discounts, every one of them within our network. So Prescription RX would give a discount, as well as our realtors, as well as our legal people, as well as our financial planners, all of our people. So as a member of Seniors on the Move, you're getting discounts.
Well, and Mark, you said, we talked off the break, I broke the cardinal rule of Mac's World, and that was to talk about the topic in the break. And earlier on, in the beginning of the hour, you mentioned how you guys vet all these vendors. You go meet with them, and you have relationships with each and every one of them, and you've made sure that they're a good fit for your company and that they would treat your seniors, your members, well. And then in the second, which I think is so critical, because you gave a scenario in the second segment, and Mac brought this up. When a senior or anybody finds themselves in an emergency situation, and I don't mean a medical emergency just necessarily, but any kind of gotta have this service right now, I don't have time, it's really great to have an organization like Seniors on the Move that I can trust and know as a member of Seniors on the Move, this vendor here provides the service I need, and Mark and Kim and the other folks at Seniors on the Move have already vetted them. I know I can trust them, so I can go ahead and give them a call right now. Because in those quick moments, those moments where we have to make a quick decision when it comes to legal documents, things like that, we don't have the time, nor do we want to take the time to vet. And often, I think, Mark, seniors can get taken advantage of.
They can, and it's so hard to go out and visit all of these different places and these different vendors. So if you're choosing a senior community, whether that's independent living or if it's assisted living or a continuum care retirement community, people get a head start because we've already vetted those.
Now, so I want legal help for my parents.
Yeah.
Do you give me one choice or do you give me several?
We actually tell you about the 3 legal people, lawyers that we have, based on your personality, based on their personalities. It's kind of like speed dating.
Yeah. Don't put me in the room with a lawyer very long. It's bulldogs.
I'll remember that.
Yeah.
However, we know that all
lawyers.
We know that all personalities aren't going to be equal. So that's why we have 2 or 3 in some of these categories, so that if the first one isn't a good fit, we have another one.
And you guys are doing this ahead of time. So in other words, if I understand what you're saying correctly, I join Seniors on the Move. You're going to get to know me so that you know who to match me up with?
Yeah, the first thing, Chris, that we do is as they come in and they're talking to us, we're putting a plan together. That plan is a result of what their needs are, their perceived needs in our interviews, and things they may have forgotten or not remembered about. And then once we put the plan together, we have a second meeting with them. And at that point, that's when we're introducing them to these services that they need through this affiliate network.
That sounds really cool. And you guys are having the Lunch and Learn coming up on Tuesday, October 25th at the Waterfront Seafood Market. That's in West Des Moines on University Avenue, Tuesday, October 25th. And you guys are offering that free lunch and Lunch and Learn to Mac's special guests. That's anybody listening to Mac's show right now. If they call 515-225-1455, that's Seniors on the Move at 515-225-1455.
All right, we're coming back live in Mac's World just a few minutes. If you've got a question for Mark, the phone lines are, they're open for you. 515-229-629. No, just gave my cell phone. 515-240-0077.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
4:50, 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Salem Radio Network News at the top, and then Hank, the Bible Answer Man, at 1-888-ASK-HANK, 515-240-0077. That's the number you can call. Mark Poole is our guest. He's with Seniors on the Move, and we're talking about, and Mark's going to be back, because we're going to continue to talk about some of the things that seniors are facing. And I'm interested in this because I'm taking care of my senior parents now, or my sister and I are. I shouldn't say I am. She's doing much more. She lives 10 minutes from them. I live 1,500 miles from them. So my sister's doing more. But my sister and I always talk, and there's always questions. And Lisa has a question, so let's go to the phone. Lisa, you're live in Mac's World. How you doing today, Lisa?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. Question for Mr. Poole.
Yes. I was wondering if there was any type of newsletter that he puts out or anything like that, just because my dad, who is very, very sharp, I mean like sharp as a tack, almost got scammed the other day, and it was pretty elaborate. And I just wondered if you put out any kind of newsletter, or email. Well, I suppose maybe not email, but that, or if you go into that in any of your seminars or anything.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. That's a great question, because more and more, as the senior population gets larger and larger, and it is really starting to get that way as baby boomers become official seniors, more and more people are trying to take advantage of older people. It's really sickening. But at the end of the day, we have a newsletter that will go out to our members, and then our website will also have interesting information on some of those important topics. And you've hit on it. There's a lot of telemarketing type calls that are going out that are trying to scam particularly seniors. And unfortunately, people can buy lists by demographics, which includes age. And so people are preying on that.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much for the call. I think that Seniors on the Move is an incredibly important service to be able to add. And, of course, the thing that we have to worry about is the thing you just said, Mark, is there are people out there scamming people. My dad and mom got hit for $4,700 a few years ago. Supposedly my son was calling them because he was in jail in France. And don't call Dad because he doesn't know I'm here. And whether they did the right, well, they did the wrong thing, but they're $4,700 out later. And an organization like yours can save people a lot of trouble. And the reason we're getting behind Seniors on the Move is because it's important to my audience. It's important to you that you know your folks are going to be taken care of. And you've got to have a reliable source. You've got to have somebody that's been vetted, and you know they'll do a good job. And that's what we've done. We've vetted these guys. They vetted us. It was a mutual vetting. It's really enjoyable vetting each other.
It was a lovely vetting.
It was a lovely vetting. Now we want to get behind what they're doing, so you're going to hear more and more about them. Frank?
My mom got a call the other day from somebody saying they were an IRS agent and saying that she owed back taxes of $7,815.15. It was that official. And they left a number and said if they didn't respond, somebody would be at the house in 72 hours. And she calls me all worried. And I looked it up, Googled it on the internet. I said, first off, the IRS is going to send you a letter. Oh, yeah, we sent you some letter. Officer Stannis Brown. And, of course, it's a New York Pawtech, New York City number. Mm-hmm. But it had red flag scam all over Google and whatever. So, there's just people out there who want to take advantage of people like that, and it's really sad. It's sickening.
Well, and Mark, wouldn't you say it's not only these kind of internet and phone scams? Sometimes you talk about this. There are companies, storage facilities, and others that just aren't good people to work with, and they might take advantage of seniors in other ways.
It's really important to choose the right service provider because it's a big deal to move. It's a big deal to store things. It's a big thing to declutter, have somebody help you declutter.
Oh, you do that too?
Oh, we have a service provider that declutters. That's a big, big task.
We need that for the office and Chris. Have you seen his office?
Are you going to get rid of me?
I'm not getting rid of you, but you got so much junk in your office.
And that's all important paperwork.
It's all important games.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
So anyway, we have somebody that can declutter.
I'll join. I'll sign up for Seniors on the Move.
Thanks. One of the other things that I want to mention is that when seniors get in these situations where they can't take care of their house anymore, it becomes overwhelming. They can't do the maintenance. They can't take care of the lawn. They don't want to shovel their driveways and their sidewalks. And they choose senior communities to live in. Sometimes people have these pets that they love, and the communities may not take the pets. And that is a huge guilt trip, a huge worry for the seniors. And we've worked out a relationship with Furry Friends, which is a no-kill shelter. And so the seniors can feel good that their pet is going somewhere where they'll never be put down.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff too.
Did anybody mention a website also?
Oh,
SeniorsOnTheMoveIowa.org, I think.
Yeah,
Iowa.
www.seniorsonthemove
Iowa.
IA.com.
Oh, so it's seniorsonthemove-ia.com.
Yeah, it's seniorsonthemove-ia.com.
It's important to get that hyphen in there. I call it a dash. So
Why did you have Why did you have it that was already taken with Iowa?
You know, today somebody went out there years ago.
Oh, I know. I was one of them.
And man, they locked onto all this stuff.
In 1996, the company that we now know as Google sent me a letter at the end of 1995 telling me that I was one of the top 10 holders of URLs. And I didn't mean to do that. I just put, things that I knew we were doing. I thought this internet thing was kind of cool. So I don't know how many I had. I may have had 40 or something. Now I probably hold 80 URLs. I've never sold one to anybody, though, because they're just URLs. I think
We need basket of deplorables, please. Thankyou.com.
All right, speaking of deplorables, Frank will be in front of the TV tonight taking notes on the election or the debate, and you'll talk about that tomorrow a little bit in Max World.
Oh, no doubt we will, yeah.
Okay.
We'll have some other news as well.
Mark, I appreciate you coming in. Come back maybe next week or the week after.
Thanks so much for having
talk
me.
about this. Yeah, you do a good job on this kind of
Thank
stuff. Jebediah, good job. Perfect today. Appreciate you. Frank,
good job.
Bob, thank you for being here today. Bob and I will be gone tomorrow. We're going to be on a special tactical investigative mission soon to be revealed to all of the world, which will give you the secret to the fountain of youth. I don't know. We're just going to be gone. Okay. Until I see you again, remember, you're holding a resentment out there, and it's just tired, and it's old, and you got to get rid of it because it's only hurting you. And Jesus says, I will forgive you as you forgive others. So suck it up, boy. Put your big boy pants on and show Jesus how you can forgive. I'll see you Wednesday live here on The Truth.